All right, welcome back to Why This Beer, the show where we dig into the people, stories, and experiences shaping the craft beer we love. I'm Aslan Graves from Main Street Brewing, joined as always by Darren Benema, Neighborhood Brewing, and Yellow Dog Penticton.
Hello.
And this week we're joined by Mike Roberts, true craft solutions facilitator for Crew Brewing Systems. Mike began his career as a brewer in both Australia and Canada before moving into the world of brewhouse design and fabrication with Crew. He's taken that hands-on brewing experience and turned it into practical, brewer-focused solutions, building systems that help breweries run smarter, cleaner, and more efficiently. In this episode, we talk about his journey from brew deck to the workshop, what it means to be a craft solutions facilitator, the unique challenges and opportunities of building breweries around the world, and how equipment innovation is shaping the future of Canadian craft beer. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a real treat. We've been talking about doing this for a bit, and also, thanks so much for doing the legwork. We've got some great beers to try from breweries I've never been to, which is pretty great. We've got some Wayland beers from New York State, of course, made on a Crew brewing system, which I'm sure we'll learn all about.
Of course.
But, yeah.
I was trying to find something a little different and a little out there. I was like, we've got some systems here in BC, but you guys can just go and buy those beers. So I pulled some strings and tried to get some beers shipped out. I had some beers coming from Colorado as well, but they got intercepted.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I mean, it's always a bit of a crapshoot. You put them in the mailbox and say lab samples, live yeast samples.
Yeah.
I've used maple syrup as a reason.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, taking the piss.
And to be fair to PJ, the brewer at Wayland, like these beers, I did my best to really mess them up too. Like, so they haven't been treated the best to get to you guys, because traveling from New York State, shipping out to me, and then like I hand delivered them to you, Aslan. But
yeah,
like,
you
Aaron,
muled them.
Yours got warmed up again on the way to you too. So like we're probably not giving these beers their best chance.
We'll take it with a grain of salt for sure.
Yeah.
So let's start with the.
Let's
go. Let's go.
Cool.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
What are we doing first?
You
Guest
choose.
choice.
Yeah.
Let's do the Velvet. The Czech dark lager.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
For those listening, this is Wayland Brewing. Is it Wayland?
Yeah.
Wayland Brewing in Buffalo, New York.
Just out in New York, and we're having the Velvet, which is a Tmave Pivo style, Czech style dark lager.
I love the simplicity of the cans on these. Like it's sleek, it's like classy, and then like the description, it's just punchy. Crisp dark lager featuring Czech floor malt and choice lots of sauce hops.
Choice slots.
Yeah.
Choice lots.
Are you using choice lots, Darren, or?
I chose them, so in a way, their choice.
Their choice. Their choice, eh, bro?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's Dravi.
So, no, it's a nice beer. Like, obviously a Crew system, but this one's a decoction style lager. So, like, just doing the decoction is like something unique, although it's not new, but making a real comeback, and it's a cool thing to try and build into the systems too. So
that's
a nice beer to highlight.
Oh yeah. Well,
that's great. Before we get too far into the brew systems, because I'll go down a rabbit hole with that. Can you let's talk a bit about you, Mike? How did you get into craft beer? Do you remember like your first beer, your aha moment?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I vividly remember my aha moment. Like, I mean, so I started just doing like retail sales in Australia with my parents' business. They had a bedding and furniture store, so I was just doing sales, and I really didn't like it. Like, it seems funny, like my primary role is sales, and I don't really like sales that much. So I wanted to get away from it, so like and just try something new. I'd broken up with my girlfriend, and I was like, I'm just getting out of here. I rented out my house, and I went to Europe, and I traveled for like 4 years around Europe. And I remember like at the time, I didn't even really like beer that much. I drank beer just to get to a target.
Where you're going.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So I just drank, no one drinks Foster's in Australia, but I was drinking VB and I was drinking Carlton Draft, and I was drinking just the standard Aussie domestic stuff. And I got to Prague as one of my first stops, and I was checked into the hostel, and they said, we got a bar downstairs, and in 2 hours it's happy hour. It's 2 for 1 beers. all right, no worries. So I went downstairs. I'll just grab a beer, like whatever you got. And they only had one beer on tap, and it was Pilsner Urquell.
Oh, wow.
And it worked out like $1 Australian per half litre, but it was 2 for 1, so it was 50 cents a beer. And so I was ordering them by twos at a time, and it was just me, and I was just drinking beers and trying to introduce myself. I'd only just started traveling. I took my first sip, and straight away I was like, this looks like the beers I've been having in Australia, but this is nothing like it. Like, it's a game changer. Like, how does this taste so freaking good? And,
Yeah.
But it just seems like the same old thing I've been drinking, and it's cheaper. So that was my moment where I was like, this beer is phenomenal. Maybe I do like beer. Maybe I was just drinking the wrong beer.
Just drinking piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was drinking awful beer. And so, like, well, I mean, it's not awful. Like, it's actually, like, perfect in certain ways. But, like, this was just a game changer for me. So the rest of my time traveling around Europe, I was going to all different breweries, and I just kept trying different beers. And I was in Belgium, I was in France, I was in, all through Portugal and Spain, and I was going into Russia and Ukraine, and I was just drinking beers everywhere, whatever I can get my hands on. So
Classic Aussie move.
Classic Aussie move to just travel with no end date in mind. Like, I ended up traveling for 4 years, not because that was the plan. It was just like, I started for 6 months and like, oh, let's just keep going, see what happens here.
Nice.
So, but somewhere along that point, I decided I wanted to be a brewer when I got back home, because more than just I like drinking the beer, I actually started, like, when I was visiting the breweries and when I talked to people more about it, I liked the chemistry side of it. I liked the engineering, the physics behind brewing. I could have gone down a rabbit hole so easily, and I just thought, this is where I want to be. Like, I want to learn more. I want to know more. Like, this is what I want to do. So that was my moment where I'm like, craft beer, that's where I'm going.
That's cool. So what was the first brewery job?
It was actually in Edmonton, funnily enough, like not even in Australia. So it was a funny thing. I wanted to study brewing when I got back home at university, but in order to get into the university course, you had to first work in brewing. So it was this weird thing where, like, I want to be a brewer, and in order to be a brewer, I've got to take the course. But to take the course, I've already got to be a brewer. So I was like, I couldn't really get one before the other. So I was actually, like, it was towards the end of my travels around Europe, and I decided I'm going to go to North America. And so I landed in Canada because I met so many Canadians traveling around. And all of them were like, whenever you're in Canada, you're staying at my place. So I had all these places to stay and go to and visit, and I had a helping hand everywhere. So I found myself in Edmonton just because I thought, I don't know what -40 feels like, and I'd like to know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So I went to Edmonton, and -40 sucks,
Yeah.
by the way. But I thought, well, if I'm going to go back home pretty soon here, like, what do I have to do to try and get a brewing job? And I thought, I'm just going to knock on every brewery's door in Edmonton until they just give me a job. And I don't care if it's sweeping floors. As long as I can claim to be working at a brewery, like, like that might be enough. So I went to, like, Alley Cat in Edmonton, and I just did a couple of days free of charge there. Just like, you don't even have to pay me. I'll just be here and I want to see what's going on. But I ended up getting a job at Amber's Brewing, which is not around anymore. But the brewmaster there, I had no idea who he was at the time. It's Gord Demanik, who, old Carling guy for like 30 years or something like that, and then ended up being brewmaster at Fernie, and then his son took over there as well. So, like, but I just walked in there with, like, not knowing anything. Well, Gord was a genius, and he was amazing. So I didn't just start sweeping floors. Like, he had me filling kegs right away. Then I was working on the bottling line, this big old 70s Coca-Cola machine. And then he had me, like, I was brewing the beer within a couple of months. Like, he had me doing everything. I was running the filter. I was doing batches on the brew house. Like, I was doing the whole work. So it couldn't have been any better, really. Like, I learned from a master. Great. Like, I was only there for a year. While I was there, I also took, like, the Siebel's course out of Chicago.
Nice.
Because I got to a point like, okay, I know how to do this. I don't know why I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do I do it for this long? And
yeah. So, and it just went from there. And, like, by the time I got back to Australia, like, I didn't end up doing the degree or the course that I thought I was going to do in the first place. Like, I ended up just highlighting a couple of breweries in Australia that I would love to work for. And again, I just hounded them and said, I don't care. I'll sweep floors. I'll do whatever. Just, I want a job here. So I worked at a couple of breweries just on the packaging line around my hometown in Geelong. But I really wanted to work at Mountain Goat Brewing in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And so I went there all the time, and I just sat at the bar, but not like in a pain in the ass way, but like,
Yeah.
but I was just,
I want people to know me. Yeah.
yeah. And like, if you need any work, I'm here, like, here's my resume. And they get all these guys walking in. They're like, oh yeah, who's this clown walking in here? Like, whatever, just add it to the stack. Yeah. They're like, oh, you've actually like got a reasonable resume. Sure. We'll give you a go. And they put me on their thing was like, they'll put you on the bottling line, like an old Maheen bottling line. And and they had like 100 hec bright tanks, and they're like, we're going to empty 200 hec bright tanks on a Maheen today, and if you're still alive at the end, you got the job.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a real test of character.
That's right.
That's the gauntlet. Yeah.
And they said I was the only one by the end of the day that got to the end of the shift and was like, oh, let's grab a beer at the bar. Like, who wants to hang around and have a beer? Like, everyone else was like limping out, like, we're just going home. I was ready to have a beer. So I got the job there and worked my way up at Mountain Goat. It was an awesome job. Like, I learned so much there.
200 hex of just rattling glass and bomber bottles sounds like...
I know, with the Maheen, dealing with the emotional wizard on the control screen that was just... You never knew what was going to get dished out. And every single time someone said, oh, this is actually going well, you're like, why would you say that?
Walk away. Yeah.
It's ruined us. And 5 minutes later, the whole thing packs it in. It starts fobbing like crazy. Or just one head will fob. Or it'll just start smashing bottles.
Yeah.
I feel like every brewer has to do they have to do their apprenticeship on a Maheen bottling line.
Yeah. I think most brewers, I love on our canning line nowadays, then you'll get a new guy come in and they go, is that how it's supposed to be? Like, is this normal? Is this normal? It's like, I don't know, man. It's not normal.
It's working all right. Those zap straps are there for a reason. That weird cut piece of slip sheet. And...
I always tell them
everything's zap strapped on. Yeah, the zap straps worth a treat. Like, you see someone with the zap straps, and you're like, oh, that's a good idea. We should do that.
Yeah, it's like arts and crafts sometimes.
Yeah, it really is.
I always say if it worked perfectly, we wouldn't be able to afford it.
That's exactly right. And it's funny because I'm in the business of selling brand new equipment and good equipment, and fingers crossed, like, this won't go wrong. But you almost need to do the hard yards first to appreciate it.
Right.
I always call out Canadians, and especially my wife and everything, because like everyone here, like, it's too cold here. Like, I prefer it in Australia. Like, so, but everyone's like, no, you need the cold to appreciate the warm. Like, no, you don't. That's just something Canadians say to justify the weather.
We love all the seasons,
But I feel like it's true with brewing. Like, you kind of need to work on that stuff to, so you can appreciate it when you actually have it good.
For sure. Yeah.
So for those who don't know what Crew is all about, let's get into that. Let's talk about Crew.
Yeah, I mean, Crew's been going for 5 years now, I think, so fairly new as far as like just a company is concerned. But we've all been in the industry and done this kind of thing for a really long time. Obviously, I started brewing quite a way back. It doesn't seem like that long ago to me, but I think it was 2008 when I started brewing, which again, it's not a crazy long time, but it's not bad.
In this industry, that's a couple growth spurts.
Yeah, it's a couple of growth spurts in a couple of different countries. So yeah, it's not bad. But so I've been doing that for a while, and I was actually at Old Yale Brewing, and we all come from NSI, so a previous company in Abbotsford who did basically what Crew do now. But they got bought out by private equity. They became huge, monster company, over 100 employees just in Abbotsford here, and they were also merged with DME out in PEI as well. So a beast of a company. It was just a totally different scene that we weren't used to, or maybe didn't really appreciate, like just the layers that you had then in a really large company versus somewhere like Crew. I mean, there's 5 of us who make the decisions day to day. Like, we just have a chat. What do you think we should do about this? And like, we should do this. Yeah, we agree. All right, let's do it. So it's as simple as that. It's a quick conversation. The Crew came out of NSI, going under. NSI went bankrupt. But like, it just left all these guys in Abbotsford and the surrounding area, and we were very good at what we did. Like, NSI was a world leader, like right up there with some of the best with all the craft brewing systems. And that comes with all these experts that were there, and all of a sudden there's no company, but all these people still know what they're doing, and we're looking for something to do. So Crew started out of that. You know, some of the best fabricators, like we're much smaller, obviously, so not everyone came on board, but some of the best fabricators, engineers, just ops managers, like project managers, like just so, Doug and Darren are the two owners of Crew. Doug started just grinding and polishing welds as an apprentice on the shop floor at NSI, and he's been doing it for 30 years, and he worked his way up to shop manager. So he was building the systems.
Cool.
And then he went into sales as well. Darren was an engineer, was in project management and sales as well. So I didn't come on board instantly because it was basically the two of them and a couple of others from that put the business together. And I wanted to be on board, but they just didn't have a spot for me right away.
Fair.
So I was kind of doing my own thing with consulting and working for a couple other companies until Doug tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, "Hey, would you like to come on board?" And it was basically a done deal within a day. So
nice.
I mean, I guess when NSI went under, there was a lot of brew houses that were like still in partial completion. So when Crew started, I guess there's probably just a lot of finishing off tasks that
that's what Crew cut their teeth on to start with, finishing all these jobs. Like, it was brutal. Like, it was a not a fun time actually when NSI went down. It was shocking to start with. I was there on the last day and just trying to call people and just let them know what's going on. Who am I calling first? Who's got maybe money on the way that I need to tell them cancel the check. Run into the office, ripping up checks for deposits before, anything can get cash, that kind of thing. So, but, I was on the phone in tears with people like that were just losing everything. It was crazy. So, on all different levels, some people basically had their system and were only lacking install. Some had just put down a deposit. So they just, they got nothing. And everything in between. So, in small businesses and big companies, Crew started with that. Like, they had a couple of, I think, it was either House of Funk or Sons of Kent. So House of Funk in North Van or Sons of Kent out in Ontario. Sorry, I'm Australian. I was just trying to. Anyway, so they were the first two systems, brand new systems, but they also like finished off the system for Wild Eye in North Van, the Black Raven down in Washington. There was quite a few.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
So that's how it started, and then just grew from there. Like just keep building the relationships. I mean, we knew everyone all over North America, and NSI was, also, all over the world. So
just starting to build relationships and get some systems out there, get a name going, I guess, at the time, right?
Yeah, and it's a real slow burn. Again, why I wasn't there like from day dot, because you got to start slow and just keep plugging away with like a tiny little team and just manufacturing. And we call it the chicken barn. Just start manufacturing there and just as economically as you can. But the good thing is, like, I mean, it's a small team, but like, I mean, we're all from NSI doing top level stuff. That's kind of what we know. Like that's the minimum.
Right. It's nice because, things aren't going to get like lost in communication or, everybody's got their hands in it, but it's like, the person's just a couple meters away to go be like, oh yeah, we're actually going to tweak this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. And it doesn't take a committee to make decisions or make changes or, even a customer comes to us and says, it'd be really cool. And so we take that idea back and discuss it. And you're like, that would be cool. Let's start doing that.
I guess that like plays into like, I was reading somewhere that you said Crew started because you guys wanted to build better systems for brewers. With your experience being in like so many different brew houses and stuff like that, is there any design features that like came directly from your own frustrations in the brew house? Any like nightmare day that you're like, this needs to be better?
100%. Like that. Honestly, like a good portion of our systems now just come. Like we started with that base, like I said, from NSI, but even still, like I had an NSI system at Old Yale and it was awesome. Like I brewed on that and was like, I can tell this was made with some thought and revision and, some of this stuff is really user-friendly. But there was still stuff when I was brewing on it. I'm like, man, this is a pain. If we just did it like this would be awesome. Or if we just changed that would be much better. So when I came in at Crew as well, one of the stipulations, I was like, can I have free reign on this system? And Doug and Darren were like, change anything. You were like, any input. Like we'll all have a say. But yeah, basically, like, there is no like set thing that we have to do here. Like if it seems better, let's do it. And it's like there's tons of stuff. Like even just like, why do I have to hook up a hose here to rinse this tank? Like, can't I just open a valve? Or I'm sick of guys not rinsing the Vorloff line out. Like it just sits there with wort in it. Like because that takes 30 seconds to do, it doesn't get done. Like let's just make that a valve, and so everyone's gonna rinse Vorloff as soon as it's done. Like just tons of little things, and even like everything you pull out your phone for to calculate when you're brewing. Like, all right, so I'm gonna have to add a bit of water here. All right, like what's my grav? What's my target? Divide that times by this. So instead, there's just a little calculator like built into the control system where it just says, what's your grav? What's your target? And it says, oh, you should add this much water. Would you like to do that now? You say yes.
Oh,
so,
for your dilutions on your HMI.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So just little things like that where that's not that big a deal, but you do that all the time over and over again. You're always pulling out.
Always got that.
Getting the calculator.
Always got that brewer's friend tab open on my phone and like
exactly. Yeah. So just tons of little things. So there's we started off with that base system that we all came to crew with and building, but it's so far from that now. Like with just constant additions, and tons of them are just from my, what would be nice, or what was frustrating when I was brewing, or what would make life easier. But a good portion of them, or probably more than my own input, is directly from the brewers. Like every time we install a system, take something from that, or when I'm doing the install, like we'll be going through something together with one of the brewers, and you're like, it'd be really nice if it did this, and like that's actually a good idea. Let's do that. So
now it's added
constant improvement, and we always say to like guys that have previously brought our systems, when you bought your system, it was the best crew system ever made. Now it's a piece of shit. It's better every time. So yours is 2 years old. You're old school.
Old model,
yeah. Need to get a subscription trade-in.
That's right. Yeah,
it's a great idea. Everything has to be a subscription these days.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will say, like when I see the crew systems, the one thing that I always I see is your like spindle station.
Yeah.
With like if brewers don't know, it's like basically a little sink on the brew deck that has like, you can take your gravity from the little temp thing. It's got a little chiller. You can chill it down, take your gravity. I'm like, oh, it's so nice.
There's like a sight glass there, so you can see the color and clarity of your wort. You pull a sample straight from it. There's a sink there, like hooked to your cold liquor. So that's where you always fill up your water bottle too, and then you can cool your sample down, test it there. Yeah, it makes it super easy rather than going up and down the stairs 100 times.
I was gonna say, there goes my 10,000 steps a day.
We're making brewers fatter. That's what we're doing. We're making them lazy and unhealthy.
Yeah, my sample sink is on the other end of the warehouse.
I know. Like it's when I was in Australia, we went through a process. We had this clunky old brew system. Like my first experience on the brew system there was the brewmaster would tell me, all right, we just finished a boil. We've pumped out. Get in the kettle and clean the electric elements and scrub it out. Like I had to physically climb in and scrub it by hand and spray it down with a pressure washer. And then I'd climb out. It's 1,000,000 degrees in there, climb out, and he'd stick his head in me like, nah, it's not good enough. Have another go.
Oh, man.
So, and then we would have competitions on who could grain out the fastest. Like as soon as like lauter was done, put on your rubber boots, grab a couple of buckets, and we just jumped in. It was an open top lauter ton. You just jump in and we just shoveled it out into bins just with buckets. Scoop it out. There was no manway on the front or anything like that.
Not. So why would there be, right? Yeah.
But we had times going. Who could do it the quickest? Like who could crank it out? And then we had like a thermometer up on the brew deck. Who could do the hottest brew day sitting up on top of the kettle? Like who could crack 55 degrees?
Oh my goodness.
So when we got the new brew house, and it was
just gluttons for punishment,
more automated, and it was like had rakes and spent grain manway and stuff like that, we're like, I don't know if we're really going to like this. Like I miss getting my hands dirty and jumping in the mash tun and digging it out by hand. Like we're going to miss that. But I think after about 2 or 3 weeks, we're like, nah. We're never going back.
Yeah. Now you're ruined.
Would you like to have the old lauter ton? No. We're okay.
Well, that stuff too. Like if your brew day is that much, easier physically because of automation and those kind of senses, then it gives you more time to pay attention to the details of like your mash pH, your your first wort gravity, like what's your where's your
That's my
efficiencies
sales
at?
pitch
Like,
right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your beer will get
It's
better. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that again. That kind of comes from my own experience as well. Because the more menial tasks and the millions of little things that you got to try and manage all at the one time, the more mistakes you're going to make, and things just slip. Or like in small breweries as well, like you don't have a logistics guy or like someone doing shipping
Yeah.
receiving. Like you're it. Like you come in and do the early brew, and you're in at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and the truck arrives like that. You're doing that. You're unloading that truck.
Yeah.
You're also trying to, in the middle of mashing, or you're just starting lauder, and you think, should I start sparge yet? No, I'll unload this truck first. And then it takes longer than you thought, and you come back and it's just dry. And it's like differential pressures shot. You've just been laundering mud to the kettle, like things like that, where you're like, okay, if we can automate at least a few of the tasks to just take away some of the oops moments, makes your life so much easier. You can, because you're doing more than just being on the brew deck too. Like you're taking grabs on tanks, and you're getting dry hop ready, and you're harvesting yeast and CIP, and so as much as it is fun, like getting your hands dirty on the brew house as well, and really getting involved in it, you've got so many other jobs you're trying to do as well, that after you're doing a triple brew day and trying to do all this stuff, then maybe if the brew house was a bit easier, it might be nice.
Yeah. No one's complaining for sure.
No.
Yeah. I think there's just like there's a time limit, or like how many times are you going to grain out by hand? Like that's only going to, every person has a different amount, but like eventually it's going to be up. But it doesn't mean you want to be like, you're not 20 forever kind of thing, right? And so
that's it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a guy like, it was about a year ago. He was down in Washington State, and he was in his 60s, and he's got a 30-barrel brew house with no rakes or anything like that. He does all the spent grain by hand, just shoveling out. And he was saying, I think I might need to add some rakes to my lauder ton because my back's getting bad, and I'm just like, I'm so sore at the end of the day. Like, you're in your 60s, man. You've done your time.
Yeah. You're literally taking years off your life.
Yeah, that's it. Like, eventually it just becomes too hard.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, man, it must be when I toured Environment a little while back, they had I'm not sure where they're shipping out to. They didn't know, the guy who was giving the tour, but they had 50 kilogram bags of grain. And I'm like,
50 kilo.
Yeah. Man. And I was like, where are those going? Like, who's lifting that? He's like, I don't know, somewhere where they've got way different standards than here.
It's heavy.
Even lifting the 25s up to bomb them into a mill, like that takes a while. When you first start doing it, you're like, nah, I'm never gonna get there. When you start lifting 25 kg bags up, you're like, yeah, I'm so powerful.
Yeah.
But to do 50s,
that's crazy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. We should talk about this beer because I'm drinking through it pretty quick. I'm
almost done with it.
Yeah. It's a good conversation, good beer. But so this is using a decoction system you've set up.
Yeah. So so PJ's the guy, like, I always get very invested in all the systems I help design and build. And, like, I'd like to think like most of them become my friends, not like you get invited to their wedding or their, kind of friend, but like, you can have conversations with them on a different level. And like PJ's certainly one of those guys. Like, I chat to him all the time. So, when I reached out to him for some beers, like, he was more than happy to send them. But this system,
thank you very much, PJ.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, definitely. So he really wanted to get into decoction styles and old world Czech style beers, which is right up my alley. Like, I mean, they were my epiphany beers, so I'm so stoked that there's this trend back towards them. So I've been all about like getting into building the equipment that can accommodate those beers as well, and making it more accessible for brewers too. So anyone calling me up saying, hey, like we want to do Czech styles, I'm all over it. So this system was designed to the nth degree to help him do these decoction style recipes, and with some automation as well to help him move mash back and forth, hit temperature targets when he blends them back together. And
cool.
So this is a decoction style Czech dark lager. So he just top dresses it with some dark malt. He gets it all from the Czech Republic, I believe, bar some of the specialty malt, but his base is definitely from Germany and the Czech Republic. But he does some phenomenal beers. So he was a home brewer before this, and very good brewer.
Yeah.
Like from what I can tell, like his recipes are awesome. His dad calls him a savant, so he'll be super.
Nice, nice. That's great. Yeah. So when it comes to decoction, adding that to a system, how are you incorporating that?
Yeah, like a secondary vessel, or like how does that?
Yeah, I
how
mean,
does that
there's a
look?
few ways to do it. It depends on what people want to spend as well. Like ultimately, you have a dedicated vessel for it, but obviously that costs a lot more money to move mash back and forth. So we try and use a combination of the vessels that are already there. We retrofit some systems as well. Like, for example, there's a brewery in South Carolina. They just had something set up for doing single infusion hazy IPAs. That's really where they saw their business. But then they went, once they opened, they're like, you know what, our lagers actually sell way more. So we need to start doing more of that. So we did decoction between their mash tun and their brew kettle, and we retrofit their piping so that when they mash in, they could into their lauter tun, they could pull some mash off to the brew kettle, boil it there, and then reincorporate it back to the mash tun. But if we're designing a system, like you have a mash mixer is ideal because you can do, full step raising. You got full control on the temperature of your mash. But then you can also send off to one of the other vessels. And when you bring it back, you can fully reincorporate and get a homogeneous temperature again. When you bring it back into a lauter tun, it makes it tough because the rates are made for cutting and relieving pressure, not for mixing.
Right.
So they're just asked to do a different job there. So, ultimately you have a mash mixer and you can send it off to the brew kettle, or you can send some off to the lauter tun while you leave some boiling in the mash mixer and then bring it all back together again. So there's a few different ways of doing it, depending on, if they've got a 4-vessel system, then we've got all the options. But if they're limited on what they can fit in the brewery or what they can afford, then we do what we can.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's been one of my big issues when I do decoction in a 2-vessel system is I'm like, when I go to bring it back over, I'm like, okay, this corner's 68, this one's 74, like trying to mix it, and like usually the mix by the time I do mix it, but that adds like another 10 to 15 minutes before I'm getting a homogeneous solution and a lot of elbow grease.
Yeah, and you can run the rates or even drop the plow and you try and do it.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
You're just reaching in with a paddle. But you get all these crazy hot spots, and it's kind of the same thing where like when you put jackets on steam jackets on a lauter tun, and a lot of people swear by them, and that's fine. Like me personally, I don't like them, and a lot of people get great results with them, but I always find you get hot spots because your rakes are made for slicing through, like I was saying, so you get all this heat. Like the lauter tun is made to be wider than it is deep. So you've got this huge distance to get your heat to the middle of the mash. And the mash is doing its best job to insulate it out. You're just never going to heat that middle. And so you get these hot spots on the outside, and you might achieve your final grav goal or, your attenuation that you're looking for. But you've probably got all these hot and cold spots all the way there, and you've got stability issues, and you've got runoff issues and everything else that you may not really be thinking about when you're boiling one part of the mash and cold in the other. That's exactly what you're talking about, as in like when you're trying to do decoction, like depends what your goal is. Like if you're doing decoction, just you want to boil some mash and just get it back in there just to try and get some flavor out of it. Okay, that's fine. Like you're not really targeting a temperature. Is it reincorporated properly? It probably doesn't matter that much. But if you're truly doing like step mashing using decoction as your tool, like it's pretty important to get that homogeneous. Otherwise, you're just missing the mark.
Yeah. So when you're doing a system like that, would you have some sort of agitator in your boil kettle or something if you're going to do it that way?
Yeah, that's interesting you ask that as well, because I referenced this system in South Carolina. So we were using their brew kettle as the decoction boil vessel for this mash. And we were looking at originally thinking, okay, you're going to need a mixer of some kind in there, or you're going to get burn on the jackets, or you're going to get sticking of the grain, or this isn't going to go well.
Yeah. And
then we even look like there's these old German systems where they use chains and they'll drag chains in the bottom. Like they'll just be on a spinner. So there's tons of solutions out there. And we were like, okay, what do we incorporate in here? But in the end, the brewery were like, you know what? We don't have the funds to do that. That's, let's just do it. Let's just send mash and boil it in the kettle. Like, all right, let's see what happens. and it worked perfectly. Like I was actually blown away. So like with low pressure steam, I mean, it's not that hot anyway, 121 degrees. So
Yeah.
Right.
And they're probably hitting like what 4 to 4.5 liters per kilogram, kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep. So like pretty thin mash, low pressure steam. If this is a direct fire system, different story, then we might have a real problem. But by the time it actually started like boiling the water on the bottom, basically, like it started mixing itself, and it was fine. Doesn't need an agitator at all. I was amazed. I was reaching down into the kettle with a paddle, making sure it doesn't...
maybe I don't need to be doing my crazy whirlpool setup.
I mean, ideally you would. Like, I would like to see it with an agitator in there, but this, I was blown away. Like, there was no... When we transferred back into the lauter tun, there was zero bacon, there was zero residual, like you get that burning wort on the jacket sometimes. None of that. I was blown away. It worked really well.
There you go. Yeah.
So there's always a solution as well. Like there's, and everyone's got different ideas. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. But like, there's no one solution to get it done.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's the best thing about brewing too. Like I always say, like my favorite part is to solve a problem. You're probably going to have to create another one, or you got to give up something to get something. Like brewing is always a compromise. Hey, I want this. What am I willing to give up for it?
Totally.
That's true. Yeah. It's like, you have a goal in mind and a target. It's like, okay, to get there, like, is it going to take me more time, more money? There's going to be one of these things that's going to
Am I going to lose efficiency, or am I going to lose some time here, or am I going to... there's always... There's some trade-off that you're going to have to be okay with to get where you want to go.
Yeah. It's always a balance, especially in a production brewery too, where you're like, you got to get beer out the door. You can't be like, sitting there like minutely changing your mash pH. You gotta exactly get it going. Right. Like it's gotta hit and then get out, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the bigger you get and the more production you have, you got a whole different set of like criteria or standards that you're adhering to. Like it changes the game completely. I've got my homebrew kit here. I can do whatever the hell I want on that homebrew kit, but that's not going to fly in a commercial sense.
No,
yeah. Speaking of what you can get away with on a homebrew kit, i.e. just using a pot to do decoction, with the decoction systems you're doing, are you then changing your process piping to be like a larger diameter? And for your pumps, are you using like a soft impeller, or are you just using a regular?
There is all of that, yeah. So definitely the piping size is critical. Like there's no way around that. When we make retrofits or upgrades or anything like that, it's the first thing we have to do. If you've just got a little 1.5 inch like wort line, it's not going to work for the mash pumping out fine. But when you're trying to flood a pump head and get the mash to come in via gravity to get things going and actually get the pump primed, we have to increase the size of some of that piping. So yeah, definitely much large. When we know someone's doing decoction, we do much larger piping for the mash transfer portions. We also create like a figure 8. So rather than having to add like a dedicated mash pump, we do the one mash pump that would send from mash mixer to lauter tun would also have piping coming back around to the front of it and then out and back the other way. So there's like this figure 8 of piping, so it can go both directions. I mean, you can get pumps that will be multi-directional as well. But they cost so much money too. Yeah. So again,
cheaper than stainless.
You've got the ultimate pump. Like if you like the best pump for transferring gentle mash running both directions, it costs 5 times the amount. It's cheaper to just add some more piping and some valves. So there's the ultimate goal, and then what is reasonable. But yeah, as far as the mash transfer pumps, no, we just use like a low RPM centrifugal pump. We use a much larger impeller, so it can move mash with a lower RPM as well. But there's all sorts of different low shear pumps that I want to put in there as well, and I often include them in the quoting process and say, hey, like for this much you could have this pump as part of the process, but usually there's always a budget constraint, so it comes down to fit for purpose and what you can spend.
Well, that's why you got to throw those in there too. The original one doesn't sound as bad.
Yeah, exactly right. So what are you doing for your decoction right now, Aslan?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm like, I should just let you know the next time I'm doing one, and you should just come by.
I should just come and check it out.
I'll at least take a photo and send it to you because it's silly. Yeah.
Well, so
but dude, doing this podcast has given me a lot of ideas.
It's probably not that silly. So, for an example, like we do some work with Cohesion Brewing in Denver, and he's one of the best with some of the Czech lagers at the moment. And Eric's awesome, such a good guy. His beers are amazing, but he's also really good friends with Sean, the owner of Cerebral Brewing in Denver. And Cerebral they're one of the best breweries in North America, in my opinion. But they wanted to do a collab, and Eric was like, well, let's do a decoction. And we built the system for Cerebral, and he called me up and he's like, so how do we do decoction on this thing? I'm like, you can't. Your beers, like you don't have decoction beers. We did not set it up for that. He doesn't have a mash mixer. Like, it's not set up. They do IPAs and massive stouts. So it was set up for that. So like you can't do decoction. And then like a week later, they sent me photos of them doing a decoction where they broke the piping, were pouring mash into a bucket and then pouring the bucket into the kettle, and then they were pumping out of the kettle back into the bucket, tipping that back into the lauter tun. And so like they got it done. They did this.
I don't have to do buckets at least.
That's it's a safety concern.
It's all hot side. There's no risk there, is there?
No, it's only boiling hot water and buckets.
Yeah, you do anything you want hot side. Don't worry about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so you've worked with breweries across continents. Have there, like, especially now, like, are you seeing big differences in what brewers want, like North America versus Australia? Asia?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Asia,
Australia's
Europe.
different. Australia, like, at least the last time I was there, a couple of years ago, like, so they hadn't really gotten onto like that Czech lager or the old world lager kind of movement that was happening in the US. And even for the most part, I think Canada's still coming around to it too. And Australia definitely wasn't there. And I was telling everyone in Australia, like, this is the next thing. Like, get ready for this. Start practicing your decoction skills. Like, this is going to be some things you're going to want to be doing soon. So yeah, there's definitely a difference. I feel like Australia kind of looks to the US craft industry a little like Canada does as well, but Australia is like that extra step behind just because of, location. Like, Canada's so close, we just feed off them so easily. Although, like, actually, like, Canada kind of came to the party late. Like, when I was brewing at Mountain Goat in Australia, like, the craft beer scene in Australia was blowing up. Like, it was just going crazy. And I came to Canada, I'm like, there's just no craft breweries. Like, there was, like, the older ones, like Steamworks and, House Sound and Driftwood, and, like, there was, those older craft beers, the craft breweries.
Back in the day when you could get 12 different winter ales.
Yes, exactly right.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that was so good. Like, I love it.
Now it's just at one brewery. Yeah.
That's right. You get the winter ale flight.
Yeah.
That was so good. But like, for the most part, like, Canada was still like, you want a beer, you got to go into Cactus Club or Earls, or like, it was just this same old bar that was just like that didn't, like, I lived in the UK, I ran pubs in the UK, and like, Melbourne pubs are kind of the same. Like, I want somewhere with some life and some soul to it, and I just didn't feel it in Vancouver. And then I came back 2 years later, and there's breweries everywhere. Like, East Van was just crazy. So Canada kind of came to the party after Australia, I feel, and after New Zealand as well, but then just blew up, and just with the proximity to the US, just fed off all that knowledge and just went crazy with it. So, Australia has like different beers. Like, I mean, you've probably heard of like XPAs, like just different tweaks on beers, which Canada's kind of coming around to brewing some XPAs now. Kind of goes back and forth. It feels like every CBC some ideas are shared, and then it goes back and forth.
Oh, it was like when I decided I wanted to do a Pacific Ale, I think I hit you up right away and was like,
yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike, tell me what is Pacific Ale?
Tell me straight what's Pacific Ale.
Yeah, Australian Sparkling Ale, Pacific Ale, like all these different things. Like, all right, here's what you want to do.
Yeah. I'm like, is this just a pale ale with Galaxy?
Pretty much.
No.
You want to make it Australian, just add Galaxy, hey?
Yeah. Pretty clever.
Aussie stout. Stout with Galaxy.
Galaxy stout. Well, it's not far off. When I was first brewing, like, I did like an Aussie breakfast stout. I just did a low alcohol, dry hopped Galaxy stout.
There you go.
That did the job.
There you go.
Yeah. So the second beer here from Wayland, Full Send Citra IPA. In case you're wondering, it's double dry hopped with Citra, Citra Cryo, Citra Hyper Boost, and also some Citra.
Also some Citra, just to have
I wonder where the Hyper Boost is in. Whether it's at what point in fermentation. That's what everybody's talking about these days.
Yeah, and you know what? I should probably know more about exactly how he does it, although he probably wouldn't.
No, that's his story, not yours. Yeah.
But this one's interesting because, like, we were talking about decoction, how we include that in our systems, but this one uses the shell and tube heat exchanger between brew kettle and whirlpool. So he cool pools his every brew basically. So he'll always knock 15, 20 degrees off, no matter what, whether he's adding whirlpool hops or not. Just because then that sets your bitterness. Like a lot of people forget that once you're in the whirlpool, like you're still getting
collecting a lot of bitterness, yeah.
And then you might do a 20-minute rest, then you might do a 40, 50-minute knockout. You've got hops in there for another hour just cooking away. So like a lot of people
with our lager, I'm like over summer because we use groundwater for cooling. It's like our run out needs to run so much slower. So our contact time on our hops is like probably an extra 30 minutes in summer versus
and so that's
winter.
That variability is tough. Like you get variability in like not only your alphas in your hops, but then just your timing, summer to winter. Like how long does it take you to knock out? If you have a hiccup or a mistake or you get distracted, how much are your BUs actually varying in your beer? And some of it is out of your control.
So what's this heat exchanger?
So you can always push like through your knockout heat exchanger, but the problem is as soon as you flame out, like you just got so much solids in suspension, and if you try and run that straight through your plate and frame heat X, you just pack it. And one of the worst jobs in the world is pulling apart your plate and frame. Like it never goes back together. There's a leak. You've got to replace something. Like it's a sucky job.
Yeah.
So instead, you put it through a shell and tube. So shell and tube heat exchanger, we can run solids through that, no problem. Like you go, 1/2 inch or 1 inch tubes through the middle, and that's where your wort's going. So it's not as efficient. You wouldn't use it for knockout like that because it doesn't get you your knockout efficiency. But for taking 10, 15, 20 degrees off from boiling down to, you're still in a good window for, you're not getting DMS risk, you're not, sanitation risk, anything like that. But just to stop that isomerization and just knock a few degrees off, it's perfect for that. It doesn't cost you any time. So just in the time it would take you to transfer to your whirlpool, that instead of running through a tube to your whirlpool, you're just running through a shell and tube. And it's the same process.
Cool.
So it's great because you can just set your BUs no matter what. When you end boil, that is it. Isomerization is done every time. It doesn't matter how long knockout takes. Doesn't matter if you get held up for some reason. And I wanted this when I was in Australia too. Like we had, it was basically our Pacific ale, but it was called a steam ale. It wasn't really a steam ale. It was just a good name for it. But we did so much whirlpool hopping in that, and it was all these New Zealand hops. And at one point we tasted the beer like that we were ready to pack it. It was so bitter compared to normal. Well, the BUs on the hops had gone up from like the alphas on the hops had gone from like 2.4 up to 6 point something. And we hadn't really noticed it. We just, again, it was one of those things we're just like throwing hops in the whirlpool. And we're not really considering whirlpool bitterness.
Yeah.
Like we don't even check the alpha on those whirlpool hops. Well, so we needed those whirlpool hops for the flavor we wanted to get. So we kept dialing back kettle hops, until eventually we had 0 kettle hops at all, and it was still too bitter. And it was just undrinkably bitter. So the only way to deal with it was to knock temperature down in the whirlpool, and then it solved our whole problem. We could put whatever we want in the whirlpool. We could control our bitterness. We could hit all our numbers. So, So this is another one. So PJ's system at Wayland, he's got not only the decoction, but he's got the shell and tube on the whirlpool as well. So he's got all the bells and whistles to get
and skook them.
The system's awesome. It's the semi-auto system, so it's not the fully automated, brew from your office or mash in from the toilet at home in the morning, but it's the semi-auto where it's just enough brewing where you still feel like you're doing it, but it takes
still have to press start.
You still have to watch it.
yeah
This is a good beer. I like
great.
this.
This is
Super
good. This is
beer.
great. Yeah. It's
It's got lots of Citra.
Survived all the shipping.
Yeah.
I think it's this. There's some Citra at the end.
Yeah.
yeah. It's that extra little bit.
It's
It's
T90s.
also some Citra.
We actually have a shell and tube heat exchanger at our Port Moody Yellow Dog location, but it's like a steam charging one. So it'll heat up. We heat up to mash out there, and then we'll send the wort that we lauter, and it'll go through the shell and tube on the way to the kettle. So then when you get to the kettle, it's like almost boiling by the time.
Yeah, you're doing that preheat.
Runoff.
Yep.
Yeah, preheat. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
Then you're just getting rid of DMS early, and yeah.
And external calandria, it's just a shell and tube.
Yeah.
Internal calandria, it's a shell and tube as well. So
yeah,
they're really all the same thing. It's just repurposing. Are they for heating or for cooling? Are we putting hot liquor or cold liquor through it? Are we putting steam through it? It just depends on the medium.
Yeah, and it's like a really easy retrofit, right? Like you already have piping everywhere, so it's like, if you add it hot side, it's easy to do. We just run steam there. If you want to do it cold side, just run cold water. Time. Like, because your jackets fail on an HLT, instead of replacing the HLT or trying to peel the skin and fix the jacket, just put a shell and tube or a heat exchanger in line on the recirc.
Oh, because you're running a recirc anyways.
Yeah, just do your heating there, and then problem solved, and then your tank's back in action. So yeah, heat exchangers are like they're a thing of beauty. We use them everywhere. Like even like the stack condenser on your brew kettle, where instead of just venting your steam to atmosphere, you send it through a shell and tube, and you just use your treated water coming in, and you get hot liquor out the other end.
Yeah.
So they're used everywhere. They're awesome. So the more heat exchangers you can put on there, the better. And I think sometimes the government will even give you a subsidy for them as well. Like, when you're doing heat exchange and energy recovery, you can also get grants for some of that stuff too.
Yeah, if you write it off and put together the application in the right way.
You've got to do the paperwork the right way. That's right. There's people out there that will do it for you too.
Yeah. The when you're like talking about a IPA design system, I was like, does that just mean putting 4-inch tri-clamps on the top of the fermenter, or?
No, we go 6-inch. You got to go 6 inch.
Yeah, sorry, 6 inch. Yeah.
The 4-inch funnel still gets a little block. The 6-inch dry hop, that just falls straight through. That's the game changer. As long as anything to avoid like the dry hop volcano.
Yeah.
You can only do so much.
Yeah, I mean, there's toys for everything as well. So like our dry hopping thing, like you either do like a floor mounted if you're doing like a big dry hop load. Again, like PJ at Wayland, he's got like our hop doser and hop charger. So they'll hydrate the hops in a vessel and then pump them into the tank, and you can do it under pressure. So you can do it to a spunded tank. And because it's under pressure as well, you don't have to blow it down and release anything you've been trying to capture there for the hops, but also you don't get the dry hop volcanoes or anything like that. But then there's also little hop cannons you can get where you can pressurize them, just stick them on a tank, and you can just punch them in under pressure as well. Yeah. So all sorts of toys.
You guys do something like that, right?
Yeah. So you can purge it out with CO2, stick your hops into it, seal it up, pressurize it, then just open a valve and it just punches it into your tank. So then you're not opening up your tank to the atmosphere, and then you're keeping it all under pressure.
Yeah.
But you're also mentioning what was it with the shell and tube for heat up? So you use it for? Do you do it for step mashing in the lauter ton?
It's a mash lauter ton combo, and it has no jackets. So to do a true mash at that location, we're not doing like true like mash steps. It would only just be for mash out.
So you're doing like a single infusion kind of system where you're recirculating wort back to the mash tun.
Yeah.
So and it's actually it's funny you mentioned like using the preheat to the kettle as well, because I mean there's actually a lot of research. It's by ABI, but they obviously spend a lot of money on researching wort quality, and like pushing your wort through any more than like a 30-degree instantaneous shift can be detrimental to wort quality and shelf stability. So doing like a multi-stage heat up rather than just have it come in at 60 degrees, hit against the jacket and come to a flash boil and rise up the side. So when you get all that flash boiling coming up the sides of your jackets and up the top of your kettle, like if you're lautering off and let's say it's 60, 65 degrees, I mean, that's more than a 30-degree temp shift right against the jackets.
Right.
Because if you come in preheated like you guys are doing, let's say you're lautering off at 65, 68, whatever it might be, you're coming into the kettle at 85, 90 degrees, you're just you're removing that bulk temperature shift. So your wort's actually better for it as well, as a nice bonus.
Yeah.
That's like the argument for using low pressure steam in an internal calandria, right? As well, or
It
external.
is,
calandria?
yeah. And a lot of breweries will
Internal,
still use
yeah.
high pressure steam, but then they'll often step it down at the brew house. So they'll bring it over at high pressure because it's more efficient. And then you step it down
Okay.
at the jackets or at the point of use. So
Right.
for a couple of reasons, because the first one, if you're using high pressure steam, then it requires CRN or ASME registration. It gets really expensive. So if you step it down, the vessel can be a lot cheaper. But also, yeah, like lower temperature steam, like a good quality, low temperature, low pressure steam is, I mean, you can get very good boil, very good evaporation. Like you can do anything you want with that. There's nothing holding you back.
And then that preserves your malt quality in your beer, like upwards of like, it's the difference of like your beer staling at like 4 months versus like 13 on your malt side, not your hops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just all that, every little, like, I mean, it's a million little things you do to achieve the end goal, and just like, once you add them all up, yeah, you can actually achieve some pretty good shelf life with it. But that's just one other, like, we do a thing called like, I mean, again, this is an ABI technology, and we actually like ask their permission before we do it, like for each system. But with it's called simmer and strip, and I may have spoken to you about that before, Aslan. But instead of going for bulk boiling and evaporation, you just simmer, and you use an inert gas to strip the volatiles out instead. So,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's an ABI patented technology, so you have to ask their permission before you have it. But as far as like ABI, at least what ABI said, they don't know of any other manufacturer who are putting it into craft brewing systems at this stage. And so we've built a couple of systems with ABI's permission to put this technology into their brew kettles. So instead of going for like 6% evaporation, 4 to 8%, whatever you're going for, you just simmer away. You go for like 1-2% evaporation. But ABI looked at, what is actually removing those volatiles? Like, how are those volatiles coming out? Is it the evaporation that's pulling them out?
Yeah. Is
Or
it the
something
heat?
else?
Yeah.
It's actually the bubbles. So when you're when you're volatilizing the oxygen, when you're liberating oxygen
When
out
you
of
have
it,
a vigorous boil, then you have more.
you just have
movement.
more oxygen bubbles coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those air bubbles are binding to your sulfur compounds, and that's what's stripping all your DMS. It's not the water coming off is irrelevant. It's actually the gas coming off that's doing the job. So they looked at it and said, well, why are we pumping so much heat energy into our wort when we could just pump gas and just simulate the gas stripping out the DMS?
Yeah.
And that does it the same, if not better job. So you now it's under very specific conditions that you do that, like, because you can use just atmospheric air, but you have to do it at certain temperatures. You can use, nitrogen or CO2, whatever you want. So their technology has a lot more detail to it than that, obviously, and you have to follow this very specific procedure. But in essence, they're just using gas bubbles to remove your volatiles instead of just pumping heat energy at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were saying it's like trying to fix it with a sledgehammer when really you just need the
yeah, totally. That's a good analogy. And then, like, are you able to, like, in theory, shorten your boil, right? Like, you could.
So technically, so the goal isn't so much to shorten the boil. Yes, you probably could, like, if you get very efficient at removing volatiles, but the length of boil is a lot to do with, like, precipitation of proteins, isomerization of, all your alpha acids. Like, so there's a lot more to it than just that. So you've got other goals in mind for, as long as you reach all those chemical reactions are at boiling point. They don't care how much you evaporate. You just got to be at boiling point. So, you can achieve those goals. Like, maybe you can throw more bittering hops in at the start. Maybe you could reduce your boil. But the biggest energy saving is in, like, to go for, like, getting evaporation costs a lot of energy. Like, that phase change. It's the same reason that steam is such a good energy source, because it changes phase. It's not that it's 121 degrees. It's that it changes phase from steam to liquid against the jacket, against the sidewall. That phase change just imparts bulk energy. So going back the other way, if you're trying to phase change from liquid to gas, like that takes so much energy.
Right.
So if you're only evaporating 1%, you can have a boiler 20% of the size. So instead of going for a 20 horse boiler, you can go for a 5 horse boiler, 3 horse, whatever you need, just to get the job done for all your hot liquor and the other steps. And you really don't need much for the kettle. So it's a huge energy saving. You save water because you're not just venting it all off.
And that's why ABI is like interested in it, because think about, if they're saving like even 1% of their energy savings, it's massive. It could be millions of billions of dollars, right, for the year,
and
right?
they have huge like carbon tax like bills as well. So all of that for them,
reducing your natural gas usage and everything like that is going to help.
And so like ABI St. Louis, they don't bulk boil anymore. They simmer. That's all they do. So cool. It's an awesome technology, and like, so we really nerd out on tons of that stuff too. Like, and I only got onto that because I had forget who it was that reached out to me, and they were just, I think it might have been a brewery in Phoenix, and they were like, our boiler has died, or it's just limping along. One of our jackets has gone on the kettle. Like, we just can't boil anymore, and our beer sucks. Like, it stinks. Like, we can't drive off the DMS. What are we going to do? Like, is there a way that you can think of to get our kettle to boil hard with what we're dealing with right now? And so I was just speaking to a friend in Germany, and he's like, well, you don't really have to boil anymore. The new theory is don't boil. You're actually better off. Like, your work quality is better to not do it. So that's when I went down the rabbit hole of researching this. And then I had to hound the ABI team in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And because they have it at is it the Heineken brewery there, or one of them? That was like their test case for it.
Their pilot,
so I had to speak with all these Dutch guys to try and get permission to use this.
Well, I'd heard before about there's breweries that do like what is it, high pressure boils, where they like everything's under pressure, so then it drives the boiling point down to do the same thing, where you're using less energy to get to a boil, because like the temperature,
the opposite, like it'll drive the boiling
opposite,
point up.
like low pressure boil.
So when you pressurize it, it drives the boiling point up. The problem with pressurizing it is that you can get like a really good boil. It's like where you have a pressure cooker. Like, you can really ramp
I think they're pressurizing it, and then like you have the temperature's higher.
But you can't get rid of the volatiles.
You get a better boil off.
Getting rid of the volatiles is hard because you got to try and maintain pressure while releasing your volatiles as well.
Right.
And
but
you can also do vacuum boiling. Well, I mean, that's like vacuum distillation and getting like all your non-alcs and stuff like that.
Right.
So you can also like drop your boiling point. So which essentially is what they do in Denver. Like, the boiling point in Denver is like 92 degrees.
That's
so
crazy.
We run into problems with brew houses there because their hot liquor tank, they struggle to get it to temp, and it starts like boiling inside the heat exchangers, even just to get it up to like 85 degrees on your liquor. Their isomerization of hops is horrible, so they use an obscene amount of hops.
How interesting. Yeah.
So
I never thought about that. Yeah. Holy crap.
At 92 degrees, like you're
so if you're taking IPA recipes from Denver, you gotta really adjust.
You gotta adjust.
Really dial it back.
Dial it back. Yeah.
Dial it back. If someone from Denver gives you a recipe, like you're gonna be chewing on
the coasts are known for their hoppy beers. Now you know why. There you go.
Yeah, sea level. It makes a difference. Like,
better
we just make this assumption at sea level. We're pretty lucky here, like for the most part in BC, but particularly like lower mainland. We're at sea level. We had unbelievable water just out of the tap. We have like good brewing conditions, like sea level. Like, we're actually in a pretty good spot to brew, and you take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah, here in Penticton, we're at it's a 98 boil for us. It's not quite like that low, but it's like, like our kettles never hit 100. But just
that's it. And sometimes you're like, is the instruments off? Is my temp pro reading right?
It's like 97 to 98. It's like that's when it boils every time.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. Like, Calgary's in a similar position as well. Like, as soon as someone says, we're setting up a brewery in Calgary, you're like, all right, so you're gonna need double the size of the boiler. You're gonna need like, there's all these things we have to go through. It's just like when you're putting a system in Florida or Arizona. You're like, all right, so your groundwater's like 30 degrees, right? All right, so you need a monster cold liquor tank.
Right.
Yeah. That must be kind of fun, is like, now that you have all these experiences and things, is like knowing the geographical differences of just being like, okay, we built a brew house in this area, or we worked with this team over here, and it's like, I see what you want to do. This is like how we're gonna get there. That's
Yeah.
realistic.
That's
Yeah.
honestly my favorite part of the job. And it's a lot of it's just through making mistakes as well. Just like even in areas where we didn't think the water was that like warm. And then you're like, what? Your city water's 30 degrees in the summer? Yeah. Like, oh man, well, we didn't account for that. So
Yeah.
there's tons of stuff there where we made mistakes. And you're like, all right, here's what we're going to do next time.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of it. I think I said like right at the start here, like sales, like I wanted to get out of sales, like when I left my parents' business, and I've ended up back in sales, but I don't feel like that's what I'm doing. Like my favorite part of the job is like someone comes to us like, here's what we're trying to do here. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And like, you know, listening to what they're trying to do in their brewery, like not only like financially, but like what are the styles you're doing? Like what challenges do you have? And like, let's figure this out. Like, let's build the best system that's going to get all of this done with your budget. And, you know, you're not going to have to compromise as much on some of this stuff. So,
Yeah.
and then going out and doing the installs and learning for that, like that is my favorite part of the job. Doing the installs is the best.
Yeah.
Like, because I get to travel to all different places around the world, or at least around North America, and everyone's happy to have you there because they're getting their new brew house. They're making like
shiny toys. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas. Everyone's
Yeah.
stoked to have you there. Like, we're doing it. We're putting wort in fermenters. Like, let's do it. So it's
Yeah.
always the best, but it's also difficult too because like
High
so
stakes,
much
yeah.
stuff goes wrong when you're first setting up. You know, you got so many pieces coming together. Nothing's going to be correct. So you're always like, you're there to try and smooth things out. Everyone's like, all right, we're going to bring you down to get the first brew going. But
Yeah.
you're there really just to make sure that when shit happens, that you're just like,
Yeah.
no, it's going to be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You're holding hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just the duck on the pond. I'm just paddling like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been on both sides, like you said, of the brewing and now fabrication. Like, what do you wish brewers knew about manufacturers and vice versa? Like, where can people learn from each other?
Yeah, it's I wish brewers knew more about the technical aspects of brewing, or the mechanical aspects. Like a lot of people like don't know or don't even want to know how to change a pump seal, for example, or something like that. But all the way up to like, you know, the physics of what's going on. Like it can be really challenging to try and you know, someone says this is what I want to do and this is the equipment I want to do it, but then to try and explain like, hey, that's not going to work. But like, we're always trying to be accommodating, you know, like we don't come into it thinking that we know everything. Like if you're coming to us with an idea or a way of doing things, like, okay, I'm going to listen to that and we're going to try and do that.
Yeah.
But it's really hard sometimes when you just know deep down this isn't going to go well. And I'm not sure that I want to supply this piece of equipment because after the fact, I'm going to get the call to say, hey, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So that can be really hard. Like I kind of went into it like when I'm like as a brewer, I don't think I'm the best recipe writer. Like I can't do the best IPA. Like I brewed IPAs at home. I think they're terrible. So I would rather get IPAs from the guys who know how to do it. But what I'm good at is actually figuring out like, okay, how are we going to make this work? I see what you're trying to brew here. Like, how are we going to make that happen in a physical sense? So I really like that part. And it's, it'd be really good if like brewers got more of a handle on the physics of brewing and the mechanics of brewing. And like that would be really nice. And like, this is a sweeping statement. Of course, there's tons of people like, that come to me and say, this is how we're going to do it. And you're like, yeah, you're right. That is how we're going to do it. So, but I feel like there's maybe like an education shortfall there. Everyone gets taught how to brew, and maybe even the why, like with the science of like what's going on with isomerization or with, you know, yeast metabolization. Like there's lots of stuff that they learn. Brewing mechanics, like with the actual equipment, I don't think is really taught very much.
Yeah. I was going to say you've been a very good educator for me, and like doing a good job of explaining like, okay, if you have this pump with this motor and this head, like this is how much you're going to be able to move. Is it going to be compatible for your tanks? Like, you know, and like that's something that's like, yeah, I totally have no idea about that. Or I mean, I remember like going to a talk on, I can't remember, it was about fluid dynamics and in like CIP systems, and them talk about how any deadhead over an inch and a half is going to not get cleaned properly. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, why have I been thinking that I can just like soak parts?
Yeah.
And like, you know,
There's tons of stuff like that where it seems simple once you know as well, and I fall into that trap as well. Like, how could you not know this? But like, it's you don't know what you don't know, or what no one's taught you before. So yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge is like listening to what people want, but like also trying to educate out and like this will work, but this won't, and kind of guiding in a direction. But on the flip side, like, coming from the brewing side of things into the manufacturing, like that's been, I think, the best thing for Crew as well is to have like we're led by brewers, like not just me. We're led by all our brewers who use our equipment and that all the ones we speak to. They're the ultimate feedback that we could possibly have. Like we can engineer it to the nth degree, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a business that's truly like word of mouth too. It's like, if someone's like, oh yeah, how's your brew house? It's good. Like then people
it is word of mouth. Yeah. Right? Like we don't advertise at all.
It's a really small business at the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
No, and you got to try and do the right thing by it. Like, I mean, when NSI went down, I was just devastated, like, for everyone who got hurt by it. But also, like, I'm part of this industry, and how am I going to show my face around these people when I felt like I was part of ripping them off? Like, it's just...
Yeah. That was the delicate part of that time where it's like, everyone was like, yeah, like, we're NSI. Like, they want to be, like, be associated with the quality that Newlands and NSI had. But also be like, but we won't take your money. It's like, and run, you know what I mean? It's like this like weird, because there's a few spin-offs out of Newlands. So it's like,
exactly.
That's always the delicate.
That's the delicate thing. And so for me as well, like, but that feeds down into other things. Like, am I going to sell you something that I know won't work? Like, I can't look you in the face again if I'll half the time I'll talk people out of stuff. And like, I know you want to spend 30 grand on that. Like, I'm not going to, like, don't buy that. Like, you're better off putting that money on something else. Like, do something else instead. Because, like, I can't come and have a beer with you or sit at a bar at CBC or something like that and actually, like, you take me seriously. So I feel like I'm still a brewer in the industry, and how am I going to get viewed if I'm just, like, selling you up the river on some of this stuff? So, that's kind of the way we look at it at Crew as well. Like, you can make mistakes on stuff, but like, it's what you do after that. You got to fix it. You got to come around to the party and like, okay, we're going to make this right no matter what.
Is there like one thing that you're often like telling people like you should do this, like, and like whether it's like maybe getting a bigger brew house or like getting bigger tanks or putting in like a certain piece of equipment? Like, is there something that
get a glycol system that's like 30% bigger than what you expect you'll be?
Yeah. I can tell you this, your glycol and your boiler will never be the right size. So just whatever it is.
There is always that. We always, like, I think that is probably the thing where they're like, if you can swing the budget for it, get the bigger boiler and chiller, no matter what.
100%.
You will not regret it. There's also, like, it depends on the brewery, like, depends on their growth path. But, like so many times, people are like, I don't know, like, we've got a 5 hex system right now. We're thinking we're going to go to a 20, but, like, I don't know, like, maybe we go with 30. Like, just go the bigger one. Like, if your growth is going there and you've got the sales for it, like, I guarantee you in, like, 2 years after this, you're going to be like, I wish we had the bigger one.
Yeah.
But it's been weird lately because the swing has almost been the opposite, where the brew pub is the model now. Everyone kept going bigger production system. Let's get like beer out there. Let's hit every province, state. Let's start distribution. Let's go everywhere. Now it's actually been, no, let's just have the brew pub. Let's just sell to that area. Let's get full margin over the bar. Let's control our product perfectly. And let's like bring production back in. Let's not go everywhere anymore. Let's just open up a couple more like satellite venues, but keep it really small. So we were building bigger and bigger brew houses. Now we're building more but smaller.
Yeah.
So that's
I see that for sure. Like as growth right now, which is still kind of crazy to me coming 5 years out of COVID. Of like like that model still like is a great model. But it's
still a good model. I mean, it's the best margin that you can get.
Yeah.
It's the best quality. Like as soon as you start sending your beer out there, like you quickly find out everything you did wrong. Sitting on a shelf for 6 months will tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's going to cost more to get it there and more to get it, and even more to get it back.
Yeah, and you realize all your mistakes, and like it's so like keeping it in house is it's easier. It's better for the customer. They get the best possible product that they can get. You get margin. You're not paying all these other distributors and shippers, and like half the time it's all the people you're dealing with making more money than the brewery actually is.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the better model right now. But I mean, there's exceptions to all of that. Like, you know, everyone keeps asking me as well, like, oh, you know, how's the industry going? You guys must be really struggling, like, because beer's not doing that well. But I don't see that. Like, I mean, no one comes to me telling me I don't want to buy a tank. I just thought I'd call you and let you know. So
Right.
the only calls I get are people who are doing well who want to buy more stuff. So I only see the upside. So, like, I don't think I'm the best person to ask about it, but I mean, we're flat out. Like, we're so busy. Like, so there's breweries that are doing well. And what we're seeing is, like, the breweries that consolidated or were doing well during COVID, then after COVID, and had a good brand, had all their finances in order. They're kind of coming out the other side going, let's double down. Let's open up another venue here. There's been a couple of closures. I think there's a window of opportunity here. So they're actually, all the brands you know seem to be now doing better.
Yeah, there's still opportunities for growth for sure if you're able to, for sure.
Yeah, there's opportunities there. It's a tough market. It's certainly changed, but there's still opportunities. And I mean, we're seeing the opportunities, like, not only just in existing markets with existing brands, but also like just new markets. Like, at least for us, like the US is so huge. There's still parts of the US that just haven't even come around to craft beer yet.
Yeah,
and they're just like, what's this craft beer thing we've been hearing about?
Yeah. It's pretty new. You'll get into it. Yeah.
What's an IPA? Like, I might get onto this. Oh, this is great. Let's open a brewery.
Yeah. So there was these boats that shipped to India. Yeah. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting times. Every time we think it's gonna, at least for us, every time we thought, this is gonna be bad, like we better, really, tighten the belt buckle here.
Yeah.
It's been the opposite. Like, we thought, like, come COVID, this was doom and gloom. Like, it's just going to tank. Everyone's going to be shut in. No one's drinking beer. Everyone drank more beer. It went berserk. Like, and if you're going to sit at home, everyone drank better beer. They're like, well, if I'm going to sit at home and not go to the bar, I'm going to drink the good stuff. It went crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then out of COVID, people came out like, party time. Let's do it. Let's go to bars. It's certainly like come back from that a little bit now, but we were thinking with all the tariffs and, like the situation in the US, like, oh, this is going to be really bad for us in the US. It's actually been the opposite. We're selling more stuff to the US than ever before. Like, because everyone got tariffs. This is the only, all I can think. This is just my opinion. But like, it wasn't just Canada that got some tariffs. Everyone got tariffs. So Canada's still a pretty good option. Actually, probably better than the others.
Yeah.
It's that northern peso.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The currency exchange is really helping us out right now. It's great.
Yeah.
So, no, we're still doing tons of business in the US, and they kind of have a problem. Like, we'd rather buy American made, but America can't just turn on manufacturing like that. So they still, your sources that were in Canada before are still probably going to be the same now. So we're still selling stuff down there. Like, it's crazy.
That's great. Nice. Are there any styles or of beer or like projects lately that have got you like really fired up? Like from clients of yours?
I mean, I love those old world lagers. I was talking about that. Like, they're just my favorite. As soon as someone calls me and says, so we're going to focus on like Czech lagers or like Bavarian lagers, like, yes, let's do this.
You like pull your seat in. You're like, all right, here.
All right, tell me more.
Sorry, I said I only got 5 minutes, but like you go ahead.
Get off a 2-hour phone call. And you're like, all right, sorry, let's talk about some equipment.
Yeah.
But no, like they really excite me right now. But I love all the beers. Like, to be honest, like, everyone's like, what's your favorite beer? I'm like, it's just beer. Like, I'll drink them all. Still love Imperial
cold and
Stouts.
wet.
Like, I love West Coast IPAs. Like, I still love, what was it? Like in California, there was those West Coast IPAs. I was living in Australia. Green Flash,
yeah.
IPAs, like I loved them back in the day. I used to pay $100 a bottle in Australia for those. Like, they would bring them in, and I would pay it because I just wanted it so badly. It was out of control.
A little bit of palate wrecker for you,
Palate wrecker.
Yeah.
I would buy. I'd pay anything. I'd find palate wrecker at some obscure importer. And I would just buy it. And it was terrible because it'd been
so oxidized.
I was the worst, and I just kept buying it. So I love all the styles. I love all the beers. Like I still like get right into all of them, and all the biotransformation and all of these new world IPAs that are happening now. I just love them too. So I love drinking them. I suck at brewing them, but the guys that do them well, I am all over it. Like I love their beers, and any way that I can pick their brain on how would the equipment better serve that brew. Like I'm all for it. Let's make some changes. Let's update it. Let's do it.
So what are some crew projects that have got you this fired up?
Like, oh man, I get so invested in all of them, and I just like we have a lot of projects in Phoenix right now, and like we did a brew house for Pedal House Brewing, and he's just winning gold medals like you wouldn't believe it, all his lagers. Working with Cohesion was like I really like that. Like
that's sure,
and same with Cerebral, Westbound and Down, like some of those Colorado breweries, like they know their stuff.
Yeah.
You go to any Colorado brewery, like that industry is so mature there. The customer won't tolerate crap beer. So for that reason, like it's just you just can't find crappy breweries. Like they're just good beer. Like I got a call from Cannonball Creek Brewery that I'd never really heard of before. And I was in Colorado seeing Westbound and Down. I was like, I'm just going to go and visit Cannonball Creek. And I sat down, had some of his lagers. I'm like, your beers are incredible. And then I look on the wall and he's got medals like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like I know every brewery, but like Colorado breweries just make good beer. So they excite me. The system at Wayland was really good because he was like, his focus was beer first. Like, I want this system to help me make the beer that I want to make. That is my number one focus.
That's sweet.
I remember chatting with you a while ago, and you guys were working on was it a little ozone generator? Keg washer combo.
So we're doing a bit of that. This is a guy in Arizona as well. So he's this mad scientist who created an ozone generator, and it way outperforms like the Mitsubishi systems and some big time stuff. Just for the ppm that he can output in such a tiny machine. So we coupled up with him because you go into the wine industry or you go to the soda like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, all that sort of stuff. They use ozone for sanitizing. They don't use chemicals. So we're really behind on that in the craft beer industry. Like we keep throwing chemicals at it, but like there's a natural solution there that I think is really great. I actually use ozone on my pool now. Like I don't put chemicals in my pool anymore. It's used for everything. It'll strip flavors out of lines. Like if you're doing crossovers between, you could pack a root beer and then do a light lager. And if you ozone it in between, you wouldn't even taste the root beer. So,
but what if I want root beer light lager?
Well,
there's a way. There's a way.
Maybe I don't, but Market does.
So there's always something to learn and something new that we should be looking at, and we should be looking at other industries. Like if the wine industry is like almost as a whole using ozone sanitizing, there might be something to that. Like, I mean, it's a very good product for getting into barrels as well, like for generating barrels and sanitizing them. But even like, I remember like putting coffee beans into an IPA and I would soak them in vodka first to try and sanitize it before I dump it into the tank. I'm buying big bottles of vodka and soaking all this stuff and dumping it in, just wash them with ozonated water and then just throw them in. Like there's so many solutions for it as well. So so we put a system at Coast Mountain. That was one of our first ones. So it was
I was going to say
CIP system with an integrated ozone. So now they just make on the fly sanitizer. So they'll recapture their caustic and they reuse that. So that's obviously a big saving for them. Whereas they were just, mixing and then dumping. But they make on-the-fly sanitizer that they, on a Friday afternoon, they connect their hose to it and they just wash down their floors with ozonated water. And now they have no black mold down in the corners behind the tanks. You can use it for cleaning vegetables. It produces a gas as well. So they gas their cold room over the weekend. They'll set it at, midnight on Saturday night. And their cold room with all their keg storage will just get gassed for a couple of minutes and it'll be, smell like a rainforest when they come in the next morning. So, everyone looks at ozone and thinks like it's this toxic thing. It's got this bad rep for being really bad, but CO2 is way worse. Like we deal with CO2 in a brewery every day, and that'll actually kill you.
Yeah,
like ozone won't. Like ozone's an irritant. Like you'd have to suck on the hose for 8 hours to kill yourself with ozone. So it's actually a really good product. So we've been pushing hard on that because it's a, and it's like that ABI innovation with the simmer and strip. Like basically, like I hear about something, or any of us hear about something, like let's check this out. Like we don't have huge budgets, and we're not this monster company, so maybe we can't invest millions into our own innovation. But when we hear,
but if you have open ears, and we
got open ears. That's it. We hear of ideas, and like let's give this a go.
Yeah, and so I mean, sounds like you're always building brew houses, and you are still home brewing, but
still homebrew a lot. Yeah.
When it's not beer, what's your way to unwind?
I mountain bike a lot. So I had to give up surfing when I came to Canada. Like I've surfed in Tofino. It's cold and dark and sharky there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I'm used to like clear water and white sand, and like
it's a very different
So I had to give up surfing, but the mountain biking is so good here. So I mountain bike galore. I used to snowboard a lot, and I started getting into like backcountry snowboarding with a friend of mine. I got a Kiwi friend that lives not far from here, and we would just drive up the Coquihalla, and we would just pull up on the side of the highway and just walk up a hill and bomb back down.
Yeah.
And he's had all the avalanche training, and he's got all the gear. I don't. So there was a couple of times where there were some sketchy moments where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. And especially once I had kids, I'm like, I don't think this is worth the risk anymore.
Yeah. Play it safe. Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's most of what I do.
Yeah.
Honestly, once I had kids, and I mean, you guys know this as well, or you're going to find out as well, Aslan, like, I don't go out and do as much stuff. Like, my favorite thing used to be like just going and touring breweries. Like my wife, like for one of my birthdays, we just went down to Bellingham and we just hit up breweries all day. Like that was one of my favorite things to do. We just don't do that very much anymore. It's just harder with kids. It was the same as like my favorite part of my job is doing the installs and commissioning, but with kids, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
I laugh. Our kids know like all of the breweries' names that are in town. Like we're going to Abandoned Rail Brewing. Like that's they always like, let's go to.
I wonder.
And they also know that I want to go there, so they're like, "Let's go there, Dad." I'm like, "You got me. I guess we're going there."
Yep. I know. I get it all the time. You're like, "What's that, Dad? Are you drinking an IPA tonight?" You're like, "No, this is actually this is a saison." Oh, a saison, is it? Like they just know. Like, are we going to some wineries today, Dad? I'm like, we might visit some wineries today, I think. Whenever we go to the Okanagan, like, are we going to some wineries? Yeah, maybe. We're in a Soyuz. Let's give it a go.
Kids in 2025,
So they learn quickly. So you got to really watch what you're saying as well, because like my whole life is beer. Yeah. That's what I do. Like, and so the kids just learn from that. Like, it'd be awesome. Like, I actually had my son stirring my decoction brew out here not that long ago as well. I'm like, all right, get the wooden spoon, just stir this. I had him stirring a mash boil for like half an hour until his arms are sore.
Builds character and muscle.
Exactly.
Builds character. He's like, can I stop now, Dad? No, keep going. We're not there yet. It's a 30-minute decoction.
Yeah.
Don't stop stirring. Dad's busy with laundering.
Yeah,
our friend's little this was a few years back, but when he was a toddler, he's like comes up, he's like, Azzy, why do you always say beer, beer, beer? And I'm like, ooh, caught red-handed.
Yeah,
you're right. I do come up to your dad and just be like, you want a beer?
Yep. Yeah. Like, are you having another beer, Dad? Like, yes, I'm having another beer.
Product knowledge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not another beer. This is just my second for the night.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for doing this with us, Mike. It's been great chatting with you and learning a bit more about you and chatting crew and everything. Yeah, about the brewhouse innovation. I've got some stuff to chew on now with ozone and stripping and all that stuff.
Auction, simmer, and strip. I don't know how far of a rabbit hole to go down, but like I could talk.
That's all good. We'll leave it there tonight, and then
this is the
someone told me in a meeting just a couple of days ago. They're like, just don't talk too much. Like it gets very wordy.
Oh no, it's great. It's great. We love it. Thanks for doing this, and thanks everyone for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you want to support us, please support our sponsors. And if you want to support Mike at Crew, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you if you're interested in like retrofitting your old brew house, or if you're looking to move into a new brew house, you can talk to them about that at Brew.
Or just call up and chat check log.
You can
Yeah.
just take your call.
Yeah, exactly.
Just talk.
Yeah, you can find them. I'm sure it's like crewbrewing.com or something like that. Or,
Yeah, crewbrewingsystems.com.
there you go. If you want to support us for the podcast, just tell your friends about the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, and follow us on Instagram. We'll post new episodes on there. If you want to support all the beer that Aslan and I make, you can buy our beer from Main Street Brewing Beer, Neighborhood Brewing Beer, and Yellow Dog Brewing Beer. All over this fine province. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Anything else?
I think that's everything. Thanks so much,
great.
guys.
Thanks a lot again. Thanks, Mike. Until next time.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.